Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast, episode number 64. Dusty Clark with Daybreak Outdoors and InfRACction Minerals. Big Buck Registry is a virtual museum of hunting stories. We preserve a piece of Americana by interviewing and recording hunters about their hunts and experiences from across the country. And who knows, maybe we'll learn a thing or two along the way that'll help us take our hunt to the next level.
Hi, this is Larry Weissoon from Trailing the Hunter's Moon, and you're listening to my favorite podcast on iTunes, the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast.
This is Milo Hansen, and you're listening to the Big Buck Registry, the Big Buck Podcast.
I'm Johnny King, and I harvested the king buck. You're listening to my favorite podcast, the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast.
Hey, what's happening? This is Jay Scott, the host of the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and thanks for tuning in to the show once again. Dusty, are you out there?
I'm out here, brother. What's happening?
Why do you say it like that? It's so funny.
Oh, man, I'm just psyched up. Hunting season just around the corner, man. Oh, God dang it. And I just had a bowl of InfRACtion I had some InfRACtion on my cereal. You know that whitetail deer mineral?
Dude, you're going to start growing antlers out of places you don't want them to grow.
Man, I'm going to start sweating InfRACtion, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a natural cover for me.
That's so funny. I have to say that I have some pictures of deer checking out the InfRACtion setup that I put out.
Awesome.
On the video. And they are clearly interested in what's there. They're not like tearing it up like they are in Ohio, but they are clearly wanting to know what in the heck is in that circle.
Nice.
Yep. So
it's that shot that you may not have had if it wasn't there.
That's right. It's kind of cool.
Just think that if I'm out in the tree stand, it's going to be a little bit warm early season bow here in Ohio coming in September. I might be like, having a little bit of sweat on my brow.
Yeah.
And it's going to smell like InfRACtion.
Because you've been eating it?
Absolutely.
Have you actually tasted it?
Absolutely.
Well, what does it taste like?
It's different. Gritty, a little bit of sweet to it.
Mm-hmm.
But, mix it with cereal, it just slides right down.
So weird. So
what's going on in New Hampshire, man? What's up there?
Do you guys have like fairs, like farm fairs and stuff like that at like the local?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's some of the best food you ever had.
Fair food. I actually enjoy it. I know some people are like, why do you eat that stuff? But there are a few things. I like the big turkey legs that you get at the fairs.
Right.
The fairs have just kind of come and gone here. I think we got a couple more to go, but it's kind of like fair season, which is always an indicator that the fall is upon us.
Right on.
But I have to say, on the way back from the fair, and this is kind of an example of people are just happy or find happiness in different things. Like everybody finds happiness in different ways. As I'm coming back from the fair, I see a guy with a kind of a low cut pinstripe shirt, half sleeves, jeans, cut off jeans, riding his 10-speed bicycle with a 30-pack of Bud on the front, grinning ear to ear. Like this.
Hold up.
Yep.
So he's on a motorcycle.
No, a bicycle.
A bicycle. Okay. I misunderstood you.
10-speed bicycle. All right. And he's got a 30-pack of Bud.
Are you related?
Not related.
Oh, okay.
And that guy's grinning ear to ear. And he's just a classic redneck, probably lost his license for Dewey, and he's going down the road and drinking Budweiser somewhere, but he was so happy. You could see he was just elated. Another mile down the road, there's another guy, except this guy's probably from Indian descent. Indian, like India, and you can see what's in his bag. He's probably got like, I think in each bag he had one of those probably half gallons of yogurt, and that guy was grinning ear to ear.
Really?
And it's just a comparison, but both guys were just as happy under completely different circumstances.
Well, I guess, I can see the 30-pack on the bicycle happy. That's just, that's pretty happy there.
Right. But then an Indian guy.
I don't know about the yogurt, though.
Well, that's their thing. They don't drink a lot in that culture, and but they love yogurt. So, I don't know. It was just kind of funny. It was one of those things you see at the fair.
Yeah, I guess,
just classic people watching. There's just so many people that go to the show, and
I'm still hung on this 30 pack on a bicycle.
You never seen that?
No, I really haven't. You know,
put it on the handlebars and you balance it and you steer. Not that I've ever done that.
Yeah, right on.
No, I don't have a 10-speed.
Oh, so you're talking like a 16-speed is what you tried it on?
Maybe that's what I'm trying to get at.
You know, I just, gosh dang it, the season here. I'm really excited. If you can't tell, that whitetail season is almost ready to open. The kill is going to be on. I
am so jacked up, and I'd like to kind of go back to that InfRACction thing we were just talking about. We decided to go get the creator of InfRACtion on the show.
Yeah, Dusty Clark,
because
you know it's going to be epic. There's going to be 2 Dusties right here on the Big Buck Registry, Big Buck podcast. I mean, you're going to have to watch out.
It's awful, just a nightmare for me.
It's going to be a good time, you know. Let's quit talking about it. Let's get Dusty on the phone.
All right, let's get Dusty. Dusty Clark, welcome to the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck podcast.
How are you doing today?
Good, man. What's going on?
Jay and Dusty. Oh, nothing. Sitting there working a little.
Jay, I got to cut in right here. This is epic. This is epic.
Really?
There's 2 Dusties on the Big Buck Registry Big Buck podcast right now.
That's scary, dude.
That is scary. Dusty,
really
welcome to the show, brother.
You're getting took over, man. I mean, the Dusties are just taking over.
Absolutely.
Dusty Square. This is awful.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you joined us, Dusty. Not Dusty Phillips, Dusty Clark. Dusty, you're always here. You like background noise. But I'm glad you're here. I want to talk mineral tonight, and I don't know a darn thing about it. I made that video the other day, which is cool, even though a few people called me fat. That's all right. No big deal.
You did a good job. Did a good job. I'll give you that.
Nice sandals, by the way.
Thank you. Nobody commented about my polo shirt that I was wearing.
The sandals were I was digging the sandals for sure.
Yeah. See, I like to wear sandals into the woods until it gets about, 40 degrees or less. Until then, I picked that up hunting in North Carolina with the boys down around Sims. So that's the way it works.
That's real hunting right there.
Yeah, it's real hunting. All right. So you saw the video, obviously. We get a lot of comments and a lot of competitors jumping in here, making, talking trash.
Yep.
Did I do the application correctly? I was going based off of Dusty's information he gave me. You
did the application pretty correctly. I mean, instead of half a bag, we would have put the whole bag. We would have put all 8 pounds.
Okay.
For the size of the lick that you put out, we usually recommend a 3x3, square or circle or whatever you want to call it. Just break the ground up like you did and pour the InfRACtion out. And then just kind of work it into the ground. And if you got the water accessible like you did it the correct way. You poured the water on top of it.
Okay.
That's great. Or you could just wait for the rain. Either way, they'll still tear it up.
Gotcha. Now, why do you have to pour water on it?
The water helps it leach into the ground more.
Okay.
The deer don't like the mineral straight. They rather have it mixed into the ground. It's so strong for them that the soil will actually absorb some of it, and it makes it where it's edible for the deer.
Gotcha. Dusty told me the other day, and I found this fascinating, that deer actually eat the dirt.
They'll actually eat the dirt. Yes, sir, they will.
That's crazy.
They'll keep digging until they get it all. In certain soils, I've seen it where it leaches better than others. The sandier soils where it'll leach into the ground more. Rocky, they'll keep on leaching easier. When you get that hard clay, the deer won't quite dig as big a hole as what you will see in a sandy soil because it can't leach into the soil near as much.
Gotcha.
So,
well, that makes sense. That's kind of what I thought was the case. You have these minerals are.
You'll have to refresh them more on the harder soils than you will the soft, soft sandy soils or the ones that actually leach into the ground.
Okay. So when should I refresh that? I've got the game camera on there. I want to see what happens.
It just depends on the deer usage. I recommend 2 to 3 months. Just go back in with 4 or 5 pounds and you can just refreshen it, put it back on top of it, and they'll work their way into it.
Okay.
A lot of times you already have a hole existing, so when it rains, they'll just be drinking the water out of it, and it's still going to be beneficial to them.
Okay.
So that's the best way to do it.
Gotcha. See, this is so foreign to me because, I put out like a deer lick before, which I guess in some sense might be concentrated mineral of some sort. But I've never seen it really do anything. So this is going to be a good test. We don't usually talk about mineral in New Hampshire, but certainly it's been used across the country. Dusty's used it in Ohio. So I'm very curious to see how this all plays out, and we'll definitely report back to you and let you know how it all went.
I believe you will love it. The deer will absolutely. It's not only a attractant, it's a supplement too.
Okay.
It really helps your deer to grow and be just a better, healthier deer herd is what I would call it.
That was my next question. So it's not just to attract the deer, but the minerals in the bag. And I want to break that down a little bit. Is actually good for the deer to build. Well, it must be nutrients first and foremost. But it must help to build antler too.
The main two ingredients are your calcium and your phosphorus, but you need a 2-to-1 ratio. The calcium phosphorus is going to be for your antler growth and for the lactation of your does, which is very important for overall herd. For the health of your deer.
That makes sense. Okay, so bones, calcium.
Yep. Bones, calcium. Yeah. That's what all your bones are made of. It's like a 22. I think the antlers are 22% calcium and phosphorus.
Gotcha.
And you need a 2-to-1 ratio. And then your lactation of your does is the same way. It helps the milk because it's a better milk producing agent. So.
Gotcha.
Then we also got the low salt levels into it. That's the thing that we wanted was the low salt levels. We got 26 to 27% salt. If you look at everybody else, mostly it's 60 to 100 to 99% salt.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot of salt.
If you look into all the competitors mainly, some of the biggest ones on the market, you'll see 60+% salt.
And you say your guys are at 26, 27% salt?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Nice.
Gotcha.
We also got vitamins A, D, and E in there. They are very, very noted for, they actually help in the horn growth too, or antler growth, as I would call it. But they're also very good for your immune system. Just helps your deer tremendously. Then you got all your little micro minerals, selenium, manganese, potassium, all of them little things are key elements. You don't have they're a very trace mineral, but they help in the digestive systems and everything is just promoting overall just basically the whole animal nutrition, as I would call it.
Gotcha. So it's like a big vitamin, basically.
Yes. It's like you taking a vitamin every night is what it is. So
Dusty could actually sprinkle this on his cereal.
If he sprinkles it on his cereal, I want to see the experiment, though. If it makes him prettier, we're doing something good. You know?
That's some great stuff. If it makes me prettier, that's unbelible.
I think they call that like magic dust or fairy dust or something because that stuff there's no way.
The magic Dusty.
Dusty and I have faces made for audio.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Magic Dusty. Come on now.
All right. So, Dusty, where are you at right now? Where's Operation Mineral going on right now?
We're in Dexter, Kentucky right now. We're based out of our shop right now. We're in the progress of moving and building a bigger warehouse to get a little more complex and get a little more out there. We just kind of really got in onto the market in the last year or two. We're progressing a lot very quickly, doubling in size every year. So it's going very well for us. Once we have a customer to buy from us, it's a repeat customer. So it's going very, very well.
That's very cool.
At this point, I want to ask, how'd you get started with InfRACtion?
Believe it or not, me and a great friend of mine, Mickey Ford, probably 8 to 9 years ago, I can't recall time because that's just way too long ago for me. I'm getting too old for that. We just decided we needed something to help the deer, and there was nothing on the market that we thought was really beneficial for the deer. So we started messing around, and I mean, I went to school for biology for a while, so I went and we kept on and started talking to nutritionists and biologists, just trying to get everything balanced out like we wanted and what we thought was beneficial to deer. And we finally come up with a product, and it was just trial and error. For about 2 to 3 years, we did trial and error. And we finally got something that was working for us, and our friends wanted to use it, and their friends wanted to use it, and then, so on, goes down the road. And then one day, one boy was like, why don't you start a business out of this? And that's kind of where it went from there, Now we're Daybreak Outdoors, and we've got 2 products, and we're selling several tons a year now. So it's progressing a lot. I never dreamed of doing this.
That's awesome, for sure. So just 2 buddies made up the mineral, and trial and error led you into InfRACction whitetail deer mineral.
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
It's nuts, man.
How'd you come up with the name?
It was just a lot of trial and error of what we wanted to fit what we thought we had.
Yeah.
And InfRACction is breaking all the rules. So then we come up with breaking all the rules of antler growth and just put the K in there, and it kind of stood out, and then we caught our eye, and I mean, we liked it. And of course, if you get the wife to like it, I mean, you're always doing good. So you know how that is. So
right,
we're good to go after we got her on board. So
right on. No,
absolutely. Mama happy, everybody happy.
Spousal approval.
Exactly.
Spousal approval is number one. Absolutely, it's the most important test. So
yeah, exactly.
All right. So when I opened the bag the other day, it had this aroma to it. I couldn't quite place it. What would you say it smells like?
I say it smells more like a sweet feed to me.
Okay. So when I was describing like a sweet smell, that wasn't off on that. That sounds pretty much what I was thinking. Good.
I was thinking that he was going to take a big chug of it, Jay, the way you were sniffing on it.
I was kind of hoping he was about ready to turn it up. I mean, just full throttle,
Right. Well, here's the thing is, if I can smell it, I mean, granted, it's concentrated in the bag right there, but if I can smell it, darn well this deer can smell that stuff, even if it's buried in the earth.
And the thing about it is, we don't put nothing like an apple flavor or nothing like that into it.
Right.
I wanted it to be kind of all natural stuff, and that's what we went with. It works the best for us. And, I mean, if a customer comes back year after year, I mean, we've got some customers we would sell a ton of mineral to a year. I mean, they love the stuff. So you can build a reputation like that. I mean, you're doing something good.
It didn't. I mean, when I smelled it, it was such a unique smell, but it smelled like a bunch of other things that I have smelled before, and I couldn't place it exactly. But that it didn't smell like you added anything. Like you could tell it was like just part of the bag. It was whatever was in there was just. It's
all natural. It's all natural stuff, is what it is.
Right.
It's nothing, no scent flavored stuff to it at all.
Right. All right. So let's break this down a little bit more. You've got calcium, you got phosphorus, you got vitamins, selenium, you got all this stuff. How the heck do you get it all into one bag? Where do you get all the minerals?
We get it made for us at a local female. This guy's been doing it for us for years. He actually helped us design this. I mean, great guy. He mixes a ton of time for us. And the thing about this, you have to register with every state you sell in, and you have to we get it about every 2 months. We get analysis on make sure our mineral is up to date and it's all in this one bag. Because if it's not, you get this. I mean, they'll come back on you. It's got to be up to your guaranteed analysis too.
So, in other words, you have to prove in a lab that it's a certain the percentages of the components equal what you claim the bag says.
All my percentages have to be within a certain limit. We have uppers and lower specs on each one of them.
Certain tolerances, but in general, the blend has to be within a certain tolerance of each chemical or compound that's in
Yes,
there.
sir.
Got it.
If not, you have a warning coming and possible fine.
Okay. And that's in each state. Each state has their own. And now, is that a food product thing, or is that a state
it's a commercial feed. It's a commercial feed is what it's done.
Commercial feed. All right.
Yeah.
Those are truth and advertising.
For something to consume it, you have to be in the state of Kentucky. I know they check it, and they will come back and say my stores, say I'm selling it in Kentucky Lake Outdoors. They go down there and they'll grab a bag, and they got to have so much of the sample, and they'll check it out, and it has to be up to those standards of the guaranteed analysis.
Gotcha.
So, but if I sell in a retail store in, say, New Hampshire, I have to have a license just to sell in that state.
Wow. How many states are you in now?
Missouri, Tennessee, Georgia, and Kentucky.
Gotcha.
So,
and any plans to expand?
We're progressing. Yes, we're wanting to expand. More the better.
Gotcha.
We're just trying to do it slowly. I didn't want to fully just jump into it. I wanted to work myself into it. I mean, I still work another job, so you don't want to overload yourself and not be able to meet demand.
Gotcha. All right. So the mineral itself, so if I'm a hunter, why do I need mineral in the first place? Do I need it?
Yes, it would help your deer herd tremendously. It's something that you can rely on as not only a supplement, as an attractant as well, especially early season. September and October, you can still kill. I wouldn't suggest during November, they ain't going to hit it near as hard. September and October, they're still going to kill the mineral. But the one thing we stress the most is trying to put it out January, February, when deer start dropping their antlers. If you'll start feeding it then and using the mineral like you're supposed to, it'll tremendously help your overall herd health. And after so many years, it's not one of them things that's going to work overnight. You ain't going to have a 200-inch deer on the camera because you used it for 2 months.
Gotcha.
It's just not going to work like that. I mean, you have to use it year after year. I mean, it's going to take 2 to 3 years before you can get the deer system to make them really work. So you say you got a 1.5-year-old deer and you start using him this year. Time he's 4.5, it's really going to help that deer. We've seen from clients who've been using 4 to 6 years now. I mean, we had one killed last year. It was 201. I mean, that's a tremendous deer for a Kentucky deer. We had several 170s, 180s. That's just, I mean, showing you what can be done with it.
How many years do you have to use this in an area? And I'm sure it's in combination with game management, the correct game management, to start producing that kind of thing. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Does genetics play a role in here too?
Genetics is going to play a role, yes. I mean, you ain't going to have nothing if you ain't got genetics. You know that as well as I do. But to get the overall, I would say the best deer you could possibly get, I mean, you have to use it for 3 years at least. I mean, that's saying you get your 1.5-year-old deer, but you'll start seeing more deer when they're younger with better horns, better antlers. I mean, it's going to help, and their bodies are going to tremendously help. You ain't going to be seeing them bony bodies like you would. You're going to have more fawns, healthier fawns, just because you're using the mineral that helps the milk. It's just going to overall help every part of your deer herd. I mean,
every aspect of it. Oh,
yes, sir.
So this leads me to my next question. And Dusty, jump in here anytime. I know I'm kind of hogging the mic here. I don't mean to do that.
No. It's great to hear the questions that you're asking, because it's things that is questions that are informal, and that that's what the Big Buck Registry, Big Buck podcast is all about, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm just asking questions that I think our audience is probably thinking about right now.
Yeah, definitely not Mike Hogan. No worries at all there.
Okay.
And great answers coming from Dusty. With InfRACtion there, that it's what I can hear and soak in like a sponge.
That's what we try to do at Daybreak Outdoors. If you have questions, I mean, we're not just somebody you buy from. We try to have a customer friendship relationship. I mean, if you have a question and you don't know about the product, just feel free to email us or call us. I mean, I have my phone on me 24/7. Most of the time it's ringing, but I'm on it. Sometimes it goes dead a lot, most of the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
but we'll do our best to answer any question anybody's got. I mean, that's what we pride ourselves on.
And that statement right there, Jay, is why the InfRACtion is on the cover photo of Chubby Times Outdoors. I like everything I heard about you from other people. Meeting you myself, Dusty, last weekend was incredible, and everything everybody said is true. Customer service is awesome. They'll talk to you. If you got questions, call and ask or email them. Catch them on Facebook and ask the questions. They're there to answer them. That's
the thing we want to know. We want to hear from the customers. I mean, I'm not just somebody you buy from. I want to see them pictures. Them pictures make me feel good, and that makes us feel good. That we got a good product coming out there, and people are showing good. I mean, they show the pictures to us, and we're like, man, that makes your day. Even the best ones though are the ones with the kids. If you get a kid to kill something over it, man, please send that in. That is the very perks of the job and passing on the tradition. That's what we think over at Daybreak Outdoors.
Oh yeah, the kids' picture is always the best. That just means it makes me feel good. It makes me smile every time I see a kid.
That just perks. That makes every bit of paperwork and everything just go away, man. Yeah. I just tell you now.
Hands down. So back to the question was that. So you're putting these minerals in a bag in a certain percentage of each type, different chemicals, compounds. Do these, and it's labeled under InfRACtion, do you have different components? Like, is InfRACtion one mixture and you have another mixture, or is it all just InfRACtion and that's the one mixture you get?
It's all just InfRACtion. It's the one mixture we got. We didn't want to branch out and do different flavors, because it's all natural ingredients. Okay. We didn't believe in doing different flavors, as you would say. I mean, that's just mainly for the consumer, just to smell is what that's going to get people this way, and we look at it.
Gotcha. Now, knowing that, because you've packaged this up into a bag, are those minerals naturally absent from the deer's diet, and that's why they come into it? Or is it just that they've always sought it out and they just like it and they have just an affinity to it no matter what?
A deer searches for salt is the main thing they search for. Salt is the main ingredient that they miss out of their diet. That is your attractant in most everything. Salt. I mean, they have to have it. If you can get the other stuff in there and blend it in with it, some of them will still seek the other stuff that they need. I mean, a lot of that stuff can be found in plants or soybeans or something like that, but they still miss a certain percentage of it. So if you can soak that in with your salt and make it tasty enough where they can eat it and just keep digesting it, it's going to help them overall heart health.
So just salt, just sodium chloride.
Salt, sodium chloride is that is your main attractant of any mineral lick out there.
Okay. Gotcha. So the mineral lick is mostly salt, but you add some other components to it. Do you do mineral licks too, or is it just the sprinkle stuff that you get in a bag?
Go ahead. Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Yep. Do you do the salt licks too, or is it just the bag that you sell?
We just sell the bag that we sell.
Okay, gotcha.
We just use straight InfRACtion. That's all we use. It's got enough salt in it that they still attracted to it. That was the thing, one of the main things we tested. Where was the drawing point on how low could you go on the salt? We noticed if we tried going lower. I mean, we were honestly trying to go as low as we could on the salt levels. But it was like you lost a lot of your deer when you went lower because of the lower percentages of salt. They were drawn to the salt. So, I mean, we found a good number that worked for us, and that's the thing at Daybreak Outdoors. We test everything for at least a year to 2 years before we release it to the public. We don't agree with just putting our name on something and sending it out there.
Gotcha. So how much experimenting did you do to test that? Did you actually set up like little tests in a field, or how did you conduct that?
We had tests. We had, I think, 14 trail cameras running, and we had different tests on each one of them. We used to hand mix it by ourselves. We would put it in a concrete mixer and mix it up. It's how we used to do it. We'd add our ingredients ourselves. We would test the percentages, and we would look at the salt levels. The salt levels was the trickiest part of getting it down. Once you got the salt levels down, we knew how we could get the other stuff. If we could get them to eat it, we needed the salt levels. That was the key. We put different salt levels in each front of each camera. We did that for at least 2 years before we could even think of what we wanted. And then after that, we tested for another year or two after we got our salt level down.
Gotcha. Dusty, what questions do you have?
Say I buy a bag of Infraction. What do I need to put it on? Can I put it on just as you recommend, just dirt, or can I spread it on an old tree stump? Tell me what applications I can use Infraction on.
You can put it on just dirt. If you do, make sure you just clean the area out. Get all the sticks and branches and leaves out of the way. And try to break the ground up as much as you can, especially if you've got a hard soil. If you got a hard soil, it's hard for it to leach into the ground. You want to make sure you get it broken up good. If you got an old log, an old stump, the boys on the southeast, I know, use the stumps, and they swear by them. They swear that's the cheapest tree stump removal you'll ever get. I mean, I've seen pictures where they'll literally just eat the whole stump down. It's amazing. But you could use it on an old log. I mean, anything like that is great. I mean, they'll eat the wood and all. I mean, they'll clean that stump completely gone.
They'll probably actually dig a hole where the stump actually goes into the ground, I'm guessing.
You will actually have a little watering hole after you get done.
That's amazing.
Really?
We've got some licks that are, I don't know, 8 foot by 4 foot probably wide, and they're probably 2 to 3 foot deep.
Really?
I mean, it's nuts.
So you're getting pictures of deer with like no heads. Their heads completely under the ground. Yeah,
then they got their own pond, man. You didn't have to dig a pond.
Natural watering hole for them.
That's crazy.
That's the cheapest pond you can get, man.
So this is going to happen in my backyard potentially.
Yes.
How long does it take a deer to find it?
Usually within a couple days. Sometimes we'll have them on it within a few hours.
All right.
I'm going to say overnight, because I put my mineral out, the Infraction. I put it out, set my trail camera on it. The next night I went back, just curiosity, and there was already, I had 3 does that done hit the mineral.
That's the thing. People don't, I mean, for the best mineral lick, I think you should put it close to a watering source. We've had their best luck near the watering sources just because the salt will make them thirsty. It's just like us. If you get too much salt, you're going to get thirsty. So if you get a watering source close, you're going to have a great mineral lick.
I'm 42 yards from the creek.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. That'll be one of the best licks you'll ever have, probably.
All right,
we've had great results on the field edges too.
Those are two great tips. I didn't even think about that. So if I'm thinking mineral lick, you really want to be near a water source or on an edge of a field. Is that what you said?
Yeah, edge of a field works great. Even the thing about the woods we noticed more is you got harder soils in the woods most of the time.
Yeah.
It's going to be more compact and ain't going to leach into the ground near as much. Just the thing about if you get on a field edge, it's been cultivated, so it's going to be a looser soil, so it's going to leach into the ground more. So you're going to have a better lick as opposed to the one in the woods where you don't think they're using. But if you put a trail camera on it, they'll still be using a lick. A lot of times them deer won't dig under that wood because the ground's so hard, they'll actually just come up and lick that ground. It almost looked like you took it and just, it's almost like a flat area. It's so smooth. I mean, where they've been licking it.
Okay. Gotcha. So the placement of these things is important too.
It's very important.
Okay.
You're going to have different deer on it at different times of the year. As you know, deer are patternable, but they move their patterns a lot. Say you ain't got a buck on it this week, but next week when they're switching transitions, they'll be on it. You know, I mean, we suggest one mineral site per probably 30 to 40 acres. I'd try to put another one if I had 80 acres, I'd probably put 2 mineral licks out at least.
Okay. 80 acres, 2 mineral licks. Got it. Okay. So what else do I need to know about a mineral lick? Is it something that I should have out all year round, or is it something I should do only certain times of the year?
We recommend it year round just because the deer will still hit it year round. The bucks, as you know, in November ain't going to care nothing about they don't even care about food hardly in November. But the does will still hit it. We've had people kill deer off of it in December. I mean, it still helps the deer. It keeps them healthy all year round. So we suggest to use it year round.
Okay. Is it better than let's say you're in an area where putting out feed or corn piles is fair and that's accepted by Fish and Game? And will this outpull the attractant to corn, or how powerful is this stuff?
I've seen them walk past a corn pile to get it. I've got people that swear about it. They walk past corn to get it. But I've also seen them where they'll tear the corn up too, but they'll also come over and get some mineral too.
Interesting.
It's, if you can put it near a corn pile, a lot of people will put it underneath their feeders just because they'll lick the ground and get the corn off the ground and they'll still eat the mineral too.
Right.
That's a good way to do it. A lot of people will just throw the corn on top of the stumps too, and they'll keep on eating the mineral licks as well.
Interesting.
And you get your protein and you get your minerals.
Gotcha.
It's just different ways. Certain times of the year, I would say November, no, they ain't going to hit it near as much as they will corn. Because your deer are going to be run down and they're going to need more fat stuff.
Okay.
To restore their energies and stuff.
Gotcha. I couldn't help but notice on the Facebook post is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like it attracted a lot of competition. Is there this thing going on out there that I guess I would deem it the deer mineral wars in a sense? Is there a lot of competition in this arena?
There's a lot of competition in deer mineral. A very, very stiff competition too. I mean, a lot of people just try. A lot of companies are popping up trying to be better than the other. That's the thing about it. It's a very, 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 I mean, just more mineral companies than you could ever dream of. You will never hear half of them until you go to some trade show. Because the thing about minerals is they're so heavy and to ship out, it costs a lot of money to ship the stuff. So you get into weight wise, and the more mineral you get into and the more weight, the more it's going to cost you and your customers.
Gotcha. Very interesting. How much does one bag weigh?
Our bags weigh 8 pounds apiece. If you look at most bags, most of them are 3 to 4 pounds. We try to keep it where the average Joe can still afford it.
Okay.
This is something we didn't intend on. We didn't ever intend on making money at this. So we wanted it where everybody could still afford it, but yet still be beneficial to the deer.
Okay. So that bag that I opened up, how much should I expect to pay retail for that particular size bag?
That bag right there at retail stores will sell for $13.49 a bag.
Okay. That seems fair to me. I was thinking 20 something.
No, if you look at it, it's an 8-pound bag, and $13.49 is what it'll sell for at retail. I think on the website we sell them for 2 bags for $35 shipped and all. I mean, we try to get it as low as we can on the website, but we're including the shipping already, so you don't have to pay nothing for the shipping. So that's just the way we do it on the website too.
That's awesome. That's really cheap.
We go to daybreakoutdoors.com.
Yep, and go to the products page, and go to the Infraction mineral. Will be on the top of it. Click on the Infraction mineral. It'll have a little scroll down. It'll say 1 bag, $35 or $25. 2 bags, $35. 4 bags, $62. And the prices will keep going. We try to make it, the more you buy, the cheaper they'll get.
Awesome.
And the shipping, okay. That's just the way we do it. We try to help the customer out as much as we can, especially if you're going to buy a lot more. That's just the thing about it.
Say I order a bag today. Today's Wednesday. When do I expect to have my Infraction at my door?
If you order it today, we will ship it out tomorrow morning. We try to pride ourselves on shipping the next day. Usually, depending on where you're at in the country, it usually takes 2 to 3 days to get there.
That's quick.
Can we get it in any state right now, or do you have to be licensed?
We can get it in any state you want, as long as it's bought online.
Bought online. Got it. Gotcha. But if you went to a show here and tried to sell it, you'd have to have the permit to do it.
Yes, I'll have to have a permit to do the shows. We're going to be in Southern Illinois before long, trying to set a trade show up there. Next year, we've got a full lineup of trade shows already, so
gotcha.
We'll be a little bit everywhere.
Dusty, how long have you been using mineral?
I've been using mineral for at least 10 years. I used mineral before we even thought of this. But nothing would really work, so that's the reason we did it. Nothing would meet our expectations, is what I would say.
Where did you go ahead, Dusty?
That was a loaded question. Hey, Dusty, how long you been using mineral?
All right, Dusty Phillips. Dusty Phillips, how long?
I almost jumped in there, and it caught me off guard. I was like, "Oh, there's another Dusty." I'm going back to 2000, the year 2000. I put out mineral.
Oh wow! So you guys have been doing this a long time. So I'm just an infant at this.
Was that the first time you've ever used mineral?
It is.
Okay.
Other than
you did a good job.
Other than a salt block, that doesn't count.
But that's the thing. Most people think a mineral. If you look at the bag, next time you go to the store, look in a bag, see what the salt content is on. Every one of them has to tell the salt content. Trace mineral, just regular trace mineral, is 97% salt. Trace mineral blocks are 97%. Most of the competitors look at them. Look on the back of the bag. Don't just look at the package because it looks cool. Because it's got a big deer and says, this is the best mineral ever. That's not the case on a lot of things.
You mean to tell me if it's got a 200-inch buck on the front of it, it's not the best mineral?
No. No.
Now, that brings up a good point. This is a marketing game. There are lots of competition, lots of companies out there trying to get your dollar. So you're saying, and marketing is important, no question about it.
Very much so.
Because you're going to look at the big rack on the front of the bag, and you're going to say, "Oh my God, I got to have that."
Yeah.
But you're saying
that's the thing about it.
Dig deeper. Look at the contents is what you're saying.
Yes. Look at the content of what you're actually getting. look at the size of the bag that you're actually getting. That's another key thing, because if you look at them, if you go to Walmart or say Walmart, Tractor Supply or something, look at the size of the bags. The bags will look bigger than ours, but look at the weight. They're like a tater chip bag. You know, when you open that thing up, I mean, what do you got in there?
A whole lot of air.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing we pride ourselves on. The bag is almost full to the rim. I mean, we have to shake it up to get it down in there sometimes, is the way we try to do it. We try to get the most out of everything we got.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. The potato chip analogy makes a lot of sense to me, as it does to Dusty. So thank you for that. Dusty and I are both on diets, by the way. Just so you know.
I'm on a seafood diet. You seafood, you eat it.
All right, Dusty. What else? Dusty Phillips. What else you got for Dusty Clark?
I'm gonna dig a little deeper.
Right.
What kind of inches do we need should we expect? Can you give us a calculation of inches per year antler growth, that possibility that the InfRACKtion mineral can put on?
We've seen, when we first started doing this, we were seeing 130s. I mean, that was our typical big buck, you know, 120s, 130s. Now we're seeing 160s, 170s.
So you're seeing 30 inches within a few years quickly.
I mean, it's going to take 3 to 4 years. It's not something that's going to magically be an Elmer Fudd and be overnight. You know that.
Right. This is a process.
It's a process. And you can't just use it one time and expect it to work. It's something you have to repeat. You could possibly see 20 to 30 inches of growth from one year to another. I mean, we've seen it. But they've used the product year round. They've used it from,
right.
A lot of people just use it from February to September or October.
What are you seeing? What are you seeing with the doe herds? With your does? Are
the doe? We're seeing even more babies. I mean, we're seeing several triplets on our farms this year.
Nice.
Very healthy triplets too. I mean, that's the thing. Lots of twins. The does are just healthy as they've ever been. Just
awesome.
The overall better herd health. I mean, you can't get past it. I mean, if you can see customers that come back and tell you they kill a 200-inch deer or 180-inch deer and use it for 3 years, I mean, that's what we get in return.
Right. You know, I'm hoping that the InfRACKtion in New Hampshire helps Jay out on increasing his antler growth and you know, upping some of the size of the bucks in the area.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a test of time because, you know, obviously New Hampshire is not known for monster bucks like, Midwest states are. They're known for, you know, you shoot a 140-inch deer in New Hampshire. That's a giant, right, Jay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big deer in New Hampshire. Absolutely. I think that would be amazing if you could get a line of this going. You know, you keep it out for several years and all of a sudden you start to see some increase in the averages of the deer that are being taken in that one area. That would be a testament to.
If you can. Go ahead. Sorry.
Just a testament to mineral growth or using minerals.
If you have to get everybody on the same plan too, you know. Right. I mean, it's not one of the things where you just go out there and shoot a 100-inch deer. You can't go out there and shoot that 100-inch deer because you think that's the biggest one you're going to see that deer either.
Well,
you have to let him grow the next year, you know.
That's going to be the hard part. You basically
you're going to take you're going to have to take your sandals off and put your rubber boots on.
Sorry,
not until
that was a classic comment, Dusty. I like that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen until it drops below 40 degrees, Dusty.
Oh, okay, all right? Okay, all right.
I can't help but laugh at that, Jay. That's funny. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, you're both very funny. No, that was a good joke. I like that one. All right, what else do we need to know? We've covered a lot tonight already. Is there anything else that I need to know, either as the experienced hunter that's used mineral for a while, or as the novice hunter or novice mineral user, I should say, for the experienced hunter? What do we need to know?
The most important thing is just to use it in the right way. Make sure you still got plenty. If deer are digging out deep out of a hole, refreshing that mineral site. I would say if they're hitting it really hard and they're digging it really deep, every 2 to 3 months, put 4 to 5 pounds. I mean, it helps you out. They're gonna keep using it year after year. I mean, they're just gonna keep pounding it, and that's just gonna be your best way to keep it going. I mean, if you put it on a stump, if you put it on the ground, whatever you use it on, just keep refreshing it. Don't just go out there and just to be and put it out one time and expect to see the results.
Gotcha. Okay.
I got another question. Say you get a lick area going. You got your mineral out and they dig a hole and it fills with water. You're good to go to dump that mineral right down that water hole.
Dump it straight in the water. They will drink the water and be just as good for them as what they're eating in the dirt.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so say that again, Dusty. Phillips.
If you got a mineral lick area going and they dig it, and like they dig a 2-foot hole, just for example, maybe it's 6 inches and it's holding water, or it's 2 foot and holding water, you're good to go to dump that mineral right in the water in that licking area and let them drink the water. The mineral naturally dissolve. Is that correct, Dusty?
Yes, sir.
The mineral naturally dissolve in the water. It'll saturate the soil. It'll get in the water, and it's good to go for them to drink the water there. So dump your mineral right in your water, right where they've been digging,
It's like you're drinking a vitamin shake or something.
Will the mineral dissolve in water?
Yes, it will.
Okay. So if you put it in there,
it'll silt into the water, and then it'll silt into the ground too.
I'm hoping like the hunters on the property next door don't see me like taking a sip out of my mineral lick.
I can see you doing that for some reason. I can see you having a straw down there. That's the bad part.
I'll just tell them it's up in my immune system and give me the vitamins I need.
They make special human ones for that, Dusty. I know you're excited.
I don't know if you can handle. Can you handle 2 Dusties on the show at one time, Jay? I don't know.
This is a challenge. I'll give you that, guys. This is the first time I've ever had to deal with 2 clowns like yourselves on the same show.
We said it was going to be epic. We might as well make it epic.
Absolutely.
You might as well.
Yeah. Well, I got to say it was most informational to hear the other Dusty talk about this dust that you like to eat.
Right on.
Very cool.
I can't get over the sandals bashing that's going on here.
The sandals bashing. No, I understand the sandals bashing. Yes, I wore sandals, flip-flops, Crocs, I think. No, they were flip-flops, weren't they?
It was like women's slippers is what I
They
seen.
were not lady slippers. They're my Adidas soccer flip-flops.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It was pink. I see them.
Dude, what's wrong with pink? Seriously. Deer can't see pink.
Oh, man. Come on. Tell me, seriously, you're not going to be wearing a pink suit out to the woods?
No, I'm not. There was a fellow on Facebook that asked me the question, what colors work best in the woods? And going back to our Grant Woods interview, Grant said that blue is the worst, but that pink or orange was okay.
It's crazy. So I'm just picturing you in a pink onesie out in the woods.
Are you just like horrified right now? Because that would scare the crap out of me.
Well, I mean, I am, but we do whatever works for whitetail hunting. That's the thing. We're going with whatever works. So if pink works, we may try it.
But there are other colors that work too. So
right on.
You don't have to use pink. But I guess my point is that I've seen a picture of Dusty Clark in his flip-flops doing the same thing I did. So
there was Crocs and it was
Crocs,
camouflage. It was camouflage. Crocs. Yeah, they wasn't flip-flops or thongs like you had between your toes.
All right, whatever. I'm throwing those away. I'm getting some camouflage flip-flops from now on.
Right on. DaybreakOutdoors.com. Check them out. Whitetail deer mineral. It's Ohio. It seems to be working real well. They're actually starting to dig the hole, so they're digging for the mineral in the same spot that I dumped it. So that's, obviously the mineral's working. And it's going to increase your herd, get them maybe through the winter a little easier by having the mineral supplement there. It's it's pretty impressive.
Yep, and I have to agree. It's almost like don't use it just before the season. Use it after the season into the spring.
Right, absolutely.
That's when they really need it.
You can use it year round. It's a year round product, and we look forward to seeing what happens with InfRACtion.
Yep, exactly. So what's going on at Chubby Tines, man?
Trail cam pictures. Everybody's shooting in trail cam pictures, and culvert trail cameras is starting to be pretty hot. I'm seeing more culvert pictures than what I've seen other company pictures coming in.
I like the covert products. I wonder if we can get, was it Pat Howard?
Yes, sir.
Pat Howard on our show, because actually I have some of the video stuff and camera pictures I've seen through like Allison's site and through yours. I actually like those. I like the quality of them almost better than pretty much everything I've seen coming on to the internet off of some of the other cameras.
Agreed. I'm fortunate to be running the Culvert Illuminator, and I really like what it's doing for my nighttime color pictures. I
think we need to get Pat to send one to the Big Buck Registry headquarters.
Absolutely.
So that I can do some testing, because I have many tests I need to run on other products that could use some time-lapse photography and picture taking of, just deer supplements or testing, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So, Pat, if you're listening, Big Buck Registry headquarters would be most appreciative of a camera so I can use it and promote your product. What do you have for the Chubby Tines tip of the week this week?
It's kind of a different one.
Okay.
It's a tree stand setup. Most guys think you need to go 80 feet in the air.
Right.
I disagree with that. You need to go where you're comfortable.
Okay.
Some guys are comfortable at 25 foot, but if you're not comfortable at 25 foot, you're not going to be shooting right at 25 foot. So go to the height that you're most comfortable at. Don't get out of your comfort zone so that you can make a clean, ethical shot and be comfortable shooting at the height that your tree stand set at.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. Just one of the things that it becomes a safety issue if you're not comfortable. It becomes a shooting issue if you're bow hunting, not comfortable at the height you're at. If you're comfortable at 15 feet, hunt 15 feet.
Yep.
If you're comfortable at 10 feet, hunt 10 feet. If you're comfortable at 30 feet, hunt 30 feet. But be in your comfort zone when you set your tree stand up. Don't. Right. It's not worth your life.
I actually prefer to hunt bow on the ground than in a tree stand. I don't like the trajectory of the arrow as much.
Right. I agree.
I think it eliminates some of your potential kill zones by just changing the angle a little bit. I mean, if they're out further, but close shots, that becomes very difficult. But if you're on the ground, those shots open up.
Right. But, be safe and get in your comfort zone with tree stand height and, do what's right for you and not worry about what somebody else is telling you.
Right. Well, that's awesome. That's a good tip, Dusty. I like that one. So I think, next week we've got a very special guest on the show, a legend.
For sure, a legend.
Larry Wyson.
The Rattle King.
The Rattle King. You've seen him on TV, I guarantee it. He's the guy with the white beard that does a lot of rattling in Texas. So he's coming up next week on the Big Buck podcast. Man, I cannot wait to talk to that guy.
Oh, me neither. I'm amped up, jacked up, fired up, festered up. I'm ready to talk to Larry and see what we can dig up with Larry and see what's going on in his world.
Yep. Dusty, how can we reach you?
Facebook.com/Chubby Tines Outdoors, and check me out at Dusty Huntneck right there on Facebook. Jay, I know there's a bunch of Big Buck locations that we can get in touch with you. Go ahead.
Let's hear what we can get in touch. Let's run down the list. We have the Facebook page, facebook.com/Big Buck Registry. We have the Twitter page, twitter.com/Big Buck Registry. YouTube is youtube.com/Big Buck Registry. Our phone number, if you'd like to call in some feedback about this show or get a hold of us because you want to be a guest or whatever, 724-613-2825. Leave us a message if we don't pick up. If you'd like to listen to more of our shows, you can go to bigbuckregistry.com/iTunes, or if you want to listen on an alternative station where you say you don't have an iPhone, it's www.bigbuckregistry.com/Stitcher, STITCHER. If you'd like to just go to our regular website or blog, it's www.bigbuckregistry.com. If you'd like to submit a picture for our Facebook Wall of Fame buck photo, that is www.bigbuckregistry.com/mybuck. And if you'd like to do a share for share, if you are another hunting page and you want to try to share on our page, please go to www.bigbuckregistry.com/S4S. I'm done.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Big buck, big buck, big buck, big buck. Everywhere, big buck.
Big buck, everywhere, big buck.
That's right. Say that 3 times fast.
Right. I'm not going to do that.
Awesome, Jay.
Good show,
great,
man.
Yeah, great show. And thank you for the listeners for tuning in. You get a chance, go to iTunes and give us a review if you would. Tell us what you like, what you dislike. Give us,
a review, subscribe if you like the show. Give us a 5-star.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, man. I think that's a wrap.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what comes next week. And, man, we're sounding good, looking good, and we hope you enjoyed us.
All right. I'm Jay Scott.
And I'm Dusty Phillips.
This is the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast. See you next week.
Can't wait.